Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth edition of the Factly Digest, which is the series of lives that we do from our studio here in Hyderabad of the Factly office. I'm Parvati Mohan, and I lead the audio-visual production efforts here at Factly. So, if you're joining us for the very first time, once again, a very warm welcome to you. And to quickly tell you what it is that we do here at the Factly Digest, we have different teams that work within Factly, and we want to bring the work that we do across these teams to you in a more immediate way, and introduce you to the people who so far have been behind the scenes. So bring them to come and talk to us on the show and tell us what their process has been like. So this is once every fortnight. So that's every second Thursday we do this around the same time, 6 p.m. IST. That's what the Factly Digest is all about. And before we get into the roundup and the highlight, the fortnightly highlight part, let me quickly remind you that memberships are live on Factly. You'll see that little join button beside our channel name. So definitely explore that. This is a way for you to show your support for the work we do. And we do have a few members already. So thank you so much to all of you for this great show of support for us. We're very grateful and we're very excited to have you on board. And yes, we look forward to adding more members to our roster. So definitely check that out when once this live is done. And also, as this live is going on, remember to keep asking your questions. Type it in the live chat. My colleagues will send the questions to me, and um, my colleagues here and I will answer the questions to the best of our abilities. And even if there is something that we cannot immediately answer, we will get back to you in some form. Um, and even otherwise, as you watch our videos, as you follow us on social media, we are at Factly India everywhere across platforms. So, use the comment section, use all of these avenues to talk to us, to get in touch with us, tell us what kind of content you want to see, and we'll be happy to look into it. With that, with all of that out of the way, we'll now get into the fortnightly highlight. And with me to flag things off is Harsha Vardhan from the Fact Check team. Hi, Harsha.
Hi, Parvati.
Uh, so, if you are at all familiar with our YouTube, you know that a lot of what we do is fact checks. A lot of the work that the fact check team does as articles is translated to video here on our YouTube channel. And so, I think that is something that that it's always worth looking into, just checking in with the team what it is that has been going really viral and what they've debunked over the last 2 weeks. So to that effect, then Harsha, take our viewers through what the main trends have been over these past 2 weeks.
Over the past few days, there has been reports of extreme violence on emerged from the various districts of the Manipur. To give a brief, this violence started on May 3 when some tribals in the Manipur organized a protest against the Supreme Manipur High Court order backing the inclusion of the non-tribals Metis into the list of scheduled tribes.
Right.
Yeah. So, in this context, there have been old videos have resurfaced, showing them as the Kuki tribes have organizing some attacks against the Metis and all the communities of this. So, every time when you see such crisis, we can expect such old videos resurfacing again as the latest ones.
Yeah.
So, the reason being, this tragic accident happened in the Odisha near the Bahanaga railway station. So immediately after the accident, several old videos showing as the visuals of jam-packed visuals from the sleeper coach of the train have resurfaced, and similarly there is some videos like CCTV footage of this triple train collision also resurfaced. So another important misinformation regarding this Odisha train accident is regarding this religious structure near the site of accident. Right. And regarding this station master of Bahanaga Bazaar railway station. Right. So actually many people claim that this religious structure is a Muslim shrine or a mosque. Yeah. And that the Bahanaga station master, uh, whose name some people claim his name is Muhammad Sharif, and he has been absconding since the occurrence of the accident. Yeah. But our investigation revealed that the religious structure near the accident site is not a mosque but an ISKCON temple called Bhanaga ISKCON temple. And the name of the station master actually is he's the station superintendent. He's the in charge of this station during the period time at the time of accident, and his name is SB Mohanty, and he's not absconding, but he's currently under investigation by the railway officials.
Yeah. So when you're talking about all of the fake news surrounding this railway accident, it is taking me back to what happened a few months ago when the massive earthquakes hit Turkey and Syria, and there are some patterns that tend to emerge whenever such disasters, whether they are human-made disasters or they are natural disasters. There are some sort of different some sorts of posts that come out. So can you talk to our viewers a little bit about uh, about about what really happens when such disasters strike?
Yeah, as soon as some disasters, whether it be man-made or natural, we can see a trend of increasing misinformation. Like for example, recent earthquake that happened in Turkey in February 2023. We see a trend of old videos of either earthquakes or some building collapses.
Yeah.
They are being shared as the visuals from the Turkey earthquakes. And coming to, since we are in the monsoon season, with the arrival of the monsoon, we can expect more videos, more old videos to get resurfaced again, like videos of people and vehicles getting washed away due to floods, and something relevant to these videos. We can expect them to resurface again and shared as the new videos.
Right. Okay, so we've spoken about these, accident-related fake news and all of that. But apart from that and the Manipur violence, over the last 2 weeks, what have the other kind of stories been?
Even though the most of the attention is around the Odisha train accident, another interesting trend is about AI-generated images. So one such important misinformation is this image of restless protesting in the Jantar Mantar. Yeah, one such image is smiling. As soon as they get detained, one image went viral in the social media saying that they were smiling. These wrestlers are smiling, but in fact, we found out that the image has been altered using the AI software, AI app. Like name of the app is Face App, in which you get filters like smile filter or other filters. So when you change the filters depending on the image we give it to it, we get the output like smiling or sad or angry based on the option we select. And similarly, another other AI images we debunked this week are this Hollywood actor Dwayne Johnson converting to Hinduism, like that. In fact, it's also an AI generated image generated using the different AI generated softwares like Midjourney, Adobe Firefly, or some other in the market. And some images of politicians like Narendra Modi also went viral. So actually, we see that is most of these creators of the AI generated AI images, they put the disclaimer whether on the images, watermarks on the images, or disclaimers on their posts. Even though many of the users share them as the real images. So we anticipate a trend in the future that it will be difficult for us, for fact checkers, to debunk such type of content in the future. Yeah.
Right. But I think if I can quickly ask you to tell our viewers also for signs to look out. For example, when we debunk the image of Imran Khan, former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan sitting in jail, which was also AI generated, we found that there was a discrepancy. The one of the feet had 7 toes.
Yeah.
And so there are errors like that. So is there any are these things that viewers should look out for when they come across a post? Because it's not possible that a fact checker will debunk every single fake post, because there are so many of them out there. So at the viewers individual level, or at the social media users individual level, are these things that they should be looking out for?
One thing we should look is whether there is some. You can look at the face of the face of this, because in fact, yeah, most of the age and pics, the face of the pics is plastic. like
Right,
they're
right,
like
right.
perfect,
Yeah.
yeah, with perfect nose and everything. And other thing you can look for is fingers. uh, Most of the pics they generate irregular fingers or multiple fingers, like 7 8 fingers
Yeah,
for one
yeah.
hand. And you can also look for this background texture and color, because some of them are blurry.
Hmm.
But with the improvement of the technology, it will be difficult even for experts
Yeah,
to say whether they are AI generated or real.
yeah.
You can also rely on the news reports, because if some popular figures went outside and there are some pictures like that, you can rely on news reports, because uh, if they are outside and they wear that attires, and like most prominent newspapers or media will cover it, and they
Yeah,
will post the pictures.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, these are a few tips for you to look out. But if you are unable to figure out how to, how to fact check an image or any kind of viral claim, whether it's image based or video based or not, we have a WhatsApp tip line, and the number is on your screen right now, and also it is in the description of our videos. So when this live is done, when it is on YouTube available as a regular video that you can watch, even there there will be a link to it. So definitely add us as as a contact on your phone, and keep sending us all these spurious claims that you come across. It will help you figure out what's real and what's fake, and of course it will help us also figure out what else is going viral apart from what is already on our radar. So that is about the tip line, and I think with that we come to the end of the highlight from the fact check team. Thank you, Harsha.
Thank you, Bharat.
And yeah, we will move on to the next team, which is the newsroom. And while my colleague joins us, I would like yeah, and while my colleague joins us, I would please like to remind all of you again that you can ask us questions. Uh, we will have a section towards the end of the live where we take your questions and answer them to the best of our abilities. So definitely do that, and of course also if you've just joined, when this live is done, consider joining our memberships. Just click the join button that is next to our name. And yeah, I think sorry, there is a technical difficulty that we have experienced, and we are coming back to you very quickly. um but yeah, all right, I think we're back on now. I'm really sorry for this. About that, we will quickly move on from that error. And yeah, so like I said earlier, I have my colleague Bharat, who heads the newsroom.
Hi Parvati. Hi everyone.
Yeah, hi Bharat. So I think we'll quickly get into your uh, fortnightly highlight. I think some very
Yeah,
interesting stories that have come out
that's right.
of the newsroom. So I think one thing that a lot of people, probably everyone watching this, is aware of, at least everyone of Indian origin, is that the 2000 rupee currency note has been withdrawn.
Yeah,
There is of course time until that, and it's not a complete demonetization in the way that of what we saw in 2016, but of course there are a lot of concerns around note withdrawals, all sorts of discussions happening. But of course we at Factly always do things a little differently from
right.
the mainstream media and from our contemporaries. So to that effect, the story on Factly is not so much about the 2000 rupee note, but about other
The
modes of
impact, yeah.
payment. So I think, yeah, I think more than me going on and on about it, why don't you tell our viewers why you chose to do this story?
Yeah. So, I mean, as you rightly said, it was like most of the emphasis once the RBI has announced that about the withdrawal of 2000 rupee note has been more about what were the reasons for the withdrawal and all those things. That was where the discussion was around. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we were looking into that anything, any data store related to that, and that was where we came across few of the reports wherein the reports were highlighted that. I mean, they reported a couple of incidents wherein people were using 2000 rupee note instead of other trans, like might be in a
Hmm.
petrol bunk or in restaurants. So there are a couple of incidents that we came across in the news reports. So that was where we thought, okay, those are the incidents, but does the data justify it? That was something what we wanted to look into it, and that was where we thought, and that was where we relied on the RBI data on regarding the different payments modes which are made, and we thought let's focus on the payments modes which could have been impacted because of a cash transaction. Like it could be an UPI payment, which people were earlier using instead of cash,
Yeah.
that thing, and might be using their debit card, credit card, especially for point of sale payments. They're like wherein you need to swipe an card.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to check, like using a 2000 rupee note. Are people really using a 2000 rupee note instead of any of these three things? So that
Right.
was where we wanted to focus on that story of it. That
Right.
was where the idea came up with.
Right. Right. Okay. So I think the follow-up questions that I think would be interesting for us to know about is, one, how did you go about getting this
Yeah.
data, and very importantly, what were the main findings?
Yeah. So yeah, let me first discuss about the methodology
Sure.
because that is important here. So one thing, as I said, we thought of identifying these three different payment
Yeah.
methods. We wanted to check that. Obvious source for us would be an RBI data, where an RBI provides an like day to day, like what were the total transactions which happened across these different payment methods.
Mm.
But now the challenge is the payments are not even on a regular basis. Like
Right.
it could be during the first week of the month, there could be much more payments because everyone gets a salary on it,
Yeah.
and might be by the end of the month people wants to save it so they don't
Yeah.
spend it
Yeah.
and all. So to counter all these things, what we did was first, instead of taking a daily what were the total value of transactions, we did a 7 day average. Like we
Okay.
took the sum of those 7 days, averaged it out, so that will even out any of these imbalances which could happen on a daily basis.
Mm.
Second thing that we did was the time period that we took it, because RBI announced it on 19th of May. So what we thought was, okay, if I'm comparing, the idea what we wanted to check out the impact was 19th of May to as on that. That is when we wrote the story, it was the end of the month. So what we did was we compared that period of 19th of a month to 30th of the month
Mhm.
with how how did I mean, what were the values for in the previous months, in the previous
Okay.
4 months.
Okay.
And that was where it obviously came up with some interesting insights on it.
Yeah.
So, firstly, if I'm talking about UPI payment, there has been an visible fall in it. There has
Okay.
been an visible fall because every month on month there has been an increase in the UPI, the value of UPI payments. But in during May, there has been a visible fall. I mean, when compared to
Okay.
an increase in the previous months,
Mm.
that wasn't seen. When I look into the debit card numbers, the last 2 years there has been a continuous fall in the debit card values,
Right.
because the reason is that it has been substituted by UPI.
Correct. Yeah.
But here in this case, not only there is a fall in debit card,
Mm.
there's also a fall in UPI, as I have already highlighted
Mm.
that thing.
Mm.
And the third case is about the credit card payments.
Mm.
When compared to these two things, there hasn't been much of an impact of credit card. It sort of remains stagnant,
Mm.
and there is obvious reasons for it, because cash is a direct substitute for an UPI or a debit card. Credit card might not always be a direct substitute for it.
Right. Right.
So one thing is, it might not necessarily point out that it could be 2000. It is because of people are using 2000 rupee note. But considering the fact that there wasn't any other bigger announcement or anything
Yeah.
made, there is a chance that it could be because of the people are using 2000 rupee notes
Yeah.
instead of this UPI or debit card transactions. So
Right.
that was an unique perspective that we added to that story.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Uh, but yeah, since we have a little more time on hand, I think very quickly we'd like to. I think we should take a look at this very quirky
Right. Yeah.
story that we did, because we are always talking about these, heavy data things,
Right.
currency and all of that. But one story that your team did, which I found very interesting, was that of election candidates
Right.
who share similar names.
That's
And this
right.
is this is a running gag in the faculty office because some of us have similar names, and in
That's
fact,
right.
Bharat
Yeah.
has an exact
Yeah.
namesake also. So it's even Harsha who came earlier. But yeah, so uh, what really happens when people who stand for the same seat
Right.
have similar names?
So yeah, as I said, like yeah, not only in fact it's a running act, but every time when an election happens, these incidents keep coming out.
Right.
That okay, like might be the most important candidates, like the most prominent political parties, they have people win an case for it. So even this case, like one of the things which caught our eye was especially one constituency in the recent Karnataka election, wherein the candidate very small margin. And after that, news reports started coming out that a controversial result. There was news reports of there are other candidates with a similar names, so that could be an impact. And also that was where the news happened. And this is something which we get it in nearly every other election when we look at it. But this time around, what we thought is okay, fine. All the incidents people are talking about it. What does the data say?
Yeah.
That is what we
Yeah.
wanted to get into it. So anything with elections, we went back to the Election Commission of India database. We searched for it, but the challenge was what would be the methodology that we would follow. So what I mean, that is where our data team came to help. I mean, that's another team of faculty
Yeah.
which came to help. So they were able to come up with an formula wherein they were able to match up all the similar names. They're able to come up with an way wherein you can match like something Bharat G. I mean, yeah, I can take that example Bharat K and Bharat G if we are having two people. So it is nearly 99% match.
Yeah.
So in that we did it. And when we ran it through all the election results, I mean, Karnataka election results across constituencies, there were three incidents, I mean, across three constituencies which sort of had thrown up some interesting anecdotes, if I could say it. The first one, the Jayanagar case. In this case, both the winner, Ramurthy, and as well as the second person,
The runner-up.
yeah, in both the cases, they had an similar name. Soumya, they had a similar name, which was sort of nearly 95% and 85% match was there. And when we actually sum up the Soumya's, I mean, the votes which Soumya received with the dummy votes, it happens to be that I mean, she lost by 16 votes initially, 16 votes initially.
Yeah.
But when we sum up the dummy votes to her, I think she would get a majority of around 100 votes.
Okay.
She would have. So that was a clear case wherein the result could have changed.
Yeah.
There was another instance of Malur constituency wherein, of course, the result wouldn't have changed it. But in this case, in the Vijay Kumar's case, what could have happened that instead of finishing third, he was anyways a rebel candidate from BJP. He stood as an independent. Instead of finishing third, he would have finished second, and the victory margin would have been lower. And there is an another third instance. It is a very blatant thing wherein the winner was HD Revanna, and there's another guy by name of the same name, exactly the same name, HD Revanna. But the thing is, okay, HD Revanna is more popular, so people wherein the other HD Revanna might have taken a sizable portion of the votes which the original HD Revanna would have got.
Yeah.
So these are some of those things wherein data did validate a few of the assumptions that we have. And yeah, if we run this thing through, even that might be such interesting things would come up. That is something.
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting story. I think you should all definitely go to factly.in, check it out. In fact, I will be putting the links to these stories in the description once this live is done. I do not think we have any questions. So yeah, we've come to the end of this edition of the Faculty Digest. The next one is on 22nd June. That's exactly 2 weeks from today. It will begin around the same time, 6 p.m. in India. And yeah, in the meantime, subscribe to us if you haven't already. Follow us across social media channels at Factly India. Consider joining our membership program. Join our membership program. And yeah, keep sending your questions, your feedback, your comments our way. We will be very happy to look into it. With that, yes, we've come to the end of the fourth edition of the Faculty Digest. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you very soon.
Thank you.